I hate to lose. I
Of
mean, who
course. Yeah.
doesn't?
Yeah.
I hate
Right.
it genuinely, but I think there's a lot that losing offers. And that's something that I had to learn. It's like a process that I've learned to look kind of differently on because it's just keeping that balance of you're never too high, never too low. And I think if you don't lose, the wins don't taste as good. Losing offers something to you, that the feeling that you never want to feel again and how you can not feel it again. I think every time I lose, I genuinely learn from it. Like,
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, near or far. Welcome back to another episode of the Coach G podcast. And today, listeners, we are joined by one of, personally for me, the most skilled and respected bigs in European basketball, Mariella Fasoula, a three-time Eurobasket competitor for the Greek national team. Mariella comes from a rich basketball lineage as the daughter of an NBA draftee and a Greek legend. Her journey has taken her from standout NCAA stops at Boston College and Vanderbilt to the highest levels of European competition with Avenidas in the Euroleague and now Beşiktaş in the Eurocup. She's known for her elite footwork, high basketball IQ, and her signature spin move. She carved out a reputation as a modern center who blends touch, technique, and toughness. So, listeners, please, without further ado, give a warm welcome to Mariella Fasoula. Appreciate you.
thank you so much for the intro. That was really nice. Thank you
I
for
had
having me
to.
too.
Absolutely. And just before we even get started, Mariella, just, speaking about your career and where you are today, before we start with that, how is your physical and how is your mental?
Thanks for the question, actually. Not a lot of people ask. I appreciate it. It's good. It's it's the part of the season where everything kind of starts to add up.
Mm,
Minutes. We had the FIBA break, a lot of games. I think November was a really tough month, schedule wise. The physical gets affected, so does the mental. But at this level, it's just something you learn how to deal with. And
yeah.
that's when you really put all the knowledge you have on recovery and knowing your body and doing what's best for you to kind of help that physical as much as you can and the mental as well with keeping the balance of what you do and your life, your responsibilities and all that. So through the years, I feel like I learned to do that. So I'm doing great, honestly.
Good
So
to hear.
thank you.
Absolutely, and just starting from the beginning because it's funny. I've been fortunate enough to be involved with coaching basketball since 2008. And one of the first teams I helped was the Camden Panthers women's team, and I got to say shout out to Anna because she's from Greece, and she put me on game. Like she said, Coach, you need to watch Olympiacos. You need to know Spandoulis. You need to know your father as well, who was like a legend. Like so, she kind of gave me that first impression of the rich heritage of Greek basketball. So for yourself, Mariella, like what was your introduction into basketball growing up in Greece?
Right. So I was, like you said, my father used to play basketball, so I was surrounded by basketball since a very young age. Since times I can't remember, obviously, I was always
Yeah.
around the sport, but I was never really. It was normal to me, so I was never really forced into the sport either. I was just very exposed to it, and again, I've said this before, and I'm always gonna say it that I really I don't know if my parents did it intentionally, but I really appreciate the way that they let me choose
Nice.
to start basketball. So it was like, it's forever going to be my decision that I started. I'm not doing it. I don't have that pressure to do it, to continue it, all that. So they put me in every other sport you can imagine
Nice.
at the
Nice.
beginning, everything. And then like one day, I asked my dad, he was playing like with my brother, really like for fun, basketball. I was like, what is this sport? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, how can I start this sport? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not what is this, but I
Yeah.
want to join a team. And he's like, oh, really? Okay, bet. And then they put me in the team. And so that's how I began at 8 years old, actually, in Memphis,
Wow.
Tennessee, in the States, honestly. I started basketball in the
Nice.
States. So
See, and it's interesting because I love the fact that you, well, one, shout out to the family for not like forcing you to pick basketball, and two, I just love the fact that even with your background, you tried every different type of sports. Because I think there was an article that I've heard about where if you look at some of the most successful athletes, they never really specialized in a sport too early. Like they did a little bit of everything, and it's only later on when they specialized in a sport their hand-eye coordination is super advanced, or they're just IQ when it comes to certain pressure situations. So I love that for you, man.
No, I
That's
think
really
that's
good.
actually super important. For example, me, because you talked about the spin move and footwork, I did
Yes.
ballet for 5 years, me. So who knows if
Okay.
that helped, right?
Yes.
My mom put me in ballet. It might have, though, you know? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it didn't work out for me for, reasons you can understand.
Right. Right.
But it was something for that was 5 years of my life, you know?
Yeah. And
So,
just you're coming from a basketball family, with your dad having played for NC State and the Greek national team.
exactly.
How did his journey influence your passion and approach to the game?
Yeah, definitely. I think, after a certain age where I realized and I was conscious enough to know, what basketball can offer a person and what my dad did with the game and what the game actually did for him. And I realized that there are options available for me to at least chase that dream that I had created with the sport. He was, his whole journey influenced me to start my own,
Mm,
so I didn't have the expectations or anything like that for it to be a similar journey because everyone's is different. And,
right.
and also there wasn't a pressure to, you know, have a specific way to do things.
Right.
So, but the things that the sport offered to my father and the way he just I know how much he loves the game and just even the things that aren't really the game that were offered from the game, the friendships, the connections,
Yes.
the memories that he shares with me from the sport, that started from there, the way he's traveled the world, all those things are very inspiring. Obviously, aside from the aspect of competing at the highest level, which is a
Right.
dream too back then. It made me really want to give it my all and see where it could take me, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I feel like there's a moment, whether it's basketball, football, tennis, there's that moment every player has where whether it's the game starts to slow down, they're reading where their help is coming from. The game is tied and the game is on the line. They make the first free throw, make the second, or everyone does that countdown, step back, three. Like, when was that moment for you, Mariella, when you realized that you was nice at basketball?
When was that moment? You know, I think that moment was this is a hard question. I've never been asked before, so I never really had to think about it because
Hmm.
there's been so many moments, but I think there have been many moments where like I might be good at this, obviously getting a scholarship, doing this, that, the third.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't necessarily a move, but it was a feeling of like I have expectations and like like I feel it. I feel trust from my team to be able to lead in whatever way that I lead, whether that's vocal, scoring, whatever, carry and help out as much as I can. When I felt that feeling, I feel like that's when I realized the importance of what my game can offer at that given moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like I felt that first in the national team, actually, play for my Greek national team. And I felt that trust from my teammates
Mm,
and my coaches. And at the end of the day, it's like when I first played for the Greek national team, it's like, you're playing for your national team, you know?
that's incredible, man.
It's a great
Yeah.
feeling. It's hard to put into words. It's like an experience, you know? And it wasn't my first time, obviously, that I felt that because I wasn't some crazy talent from when I was young, actually, at all. Like I definitely was cut. I definitely rode the bench out. I had a lot of
Okay.
those moments. I had to get better. So when that moment finally did come, because I really worked hard and I still do work hard, I don't think I'm nowhere near at the maximum potential I can reach.
Right.
So I feel like though when that work started showing on the court, I felt it from the feeling of, others pouring into me that, okay,
Right.
I trust you.
Right.
Yeah.
How is your dad when it comes to feedback? Like, is he a coach, then your dad, or is he your dad first and then a coach, if that makes sense?
Makes sense. He's my dad first,
Love that.
and I love it, honestly. And also, when it does come to feedback, he is not the one to sugarcoat anything or because,
Got
like,
it.
or make me feel better or, in the sense that if I was not good or I'm not good at something or I was playing, he gonna tell me straight up, like,
Right.
you need to like check yourself. And
Yes.
I appreciate that because, a lot of times parents try to tell their child or whatever, respectfully, like that,
Yeah.
you're the best ever. Anything you do is right. It's their fault. It's never yours,
Speak on it. Yeah.
like, and feed them these like thoughts. And sometimes that goes into a kid's work ethic too. Like, oh, since my parents tell me it's their best, like I deserve it all. I think it creates entitlement
Yeah.
as well. And I think it's just not true. Like if my dad just told me, "Oh, you're the best ever," like that's everybody else's fault except yours, I think I would not be playing basketball at this moment, you know? Like
Mm.
he's very, very honest and raw with his feedback and it helps me.
Yeah.
It helps me get better. And that also I think if it starts from a young age, you become coachable too, which is super important when a, when you want to be a professional in any level,
Right.
honestly, but
Right.
especially a professional. So I think his feedback is perfect. It's harsh. He's
Yes.
gonna say it's good when it's good, but most of the time I like constructive criticism. I want to get better, and he's always done that. So
Right. And you just even mentioned it earlier, playing for, which we're going to speak about a little bit later in the pod, but just kind of touching on that topic now. I mean, it must be such an honor to wear that jersey, to hear the anthem, and especially just coming from such a rich basketball culture, from the national team to even the Euroleague legacy. How did growing up in that environment shape the player you've become?
growing up in the environment of like um what sorry.
Yeah, like just with the growing up and just knowing that the Greek basketball culture has such a rich history, how did that
Yes.
affect, your approach to the game and just wearing that jersey, and what did it mean to you to be able to do that?
Yeah. Okay, I got you now. Sorry.
It's all good.
I think for me, I remember the first time I made the team. It was young levels, like you, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and it was, again, it was like a moment that you really never forget. I remember I was with a couple of my other teammates, which were still teammates in the national team to this day, and
Nice.
really, really good friends. And we were in the room and they cut you at 12 a.m., whoever is supposed to be cut, and you get a message
Okay.
or whatever. And we didn't get cut. And we were like screaming, jumping on the bed, like we got our uniform. We were kids, but
Of course.
in all honesty, like that moment really encapsulates it all because it takes you back to being a kid. Like that's that was such a huge thing for us to be able to be chosen to represent our country
Yeah.
and represent a country that has a lot of, like you said, basketball history and be able to be fortunate enough to represent something bigger than us and, you know, keep it at the level that it deserves, even though there's ups and downs in that
Right.
process. That's the main goal. So and then obviously it continued making my debut for the senior national team. I think just being able to hear that anthem, like to this day, every time I have a game and I'm with the national team and I'm hearing the anthem, it's like you are representing something so much bigger than yourself. And it's
Yeah.
such a huge responsibility, but also such an honor. And like, I never take putting that specific jersey on for granted
Yeah.
ever, like for real.
Yeah.
So I think it's a huge part of who I am, I think, playing for that team.
Are there any, when you reflect, and I feel like, to be honest, your book is still very much, it's still being written. When you reflect during those Euro basket competitions and battles, are there any standout memories or feelings that come to mind?
Yeah. I mean, there's really the Eurobasket is this competition. Like you said, I've been playing, I think, I don't even know. I don't remember what. I think my first one was 2015, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, or something. And it was, these competitions are just, very high level
Yeah.
of European talent, the highest level of European talent.
Right.
And it's always like something where you get together with a team and it's like you have a goal and you have a specific time limit to do it. It's not like your club team, where it's like
Yes.
you have 9 months to bond and to this and to that. So being able to create something special in that short amount of time and fight for it. And then at the same time, play against the highest level. Like I remember in 2017, we got fourth place in the Eurobasket. And I was lucky enough, like, to be part of that team. I didn't play a lot. I think just a couple minutes each game. It was a really the process to it always, to
Yes.
get to
Yeah.
play. So I was just so happy to have made that team. And I was with Greek legends on that team, Evina Maltsi, Stella
Yes.
Kaltsidou,
Yeah.
Lolita Limrajoy Dimitrak. It was a lot of players on that team that I got to call my teammates. And for that 1 month and a half, literally I was like a sponge. I was soaking up
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if anyone's gonna teach you what the national team means, it's them. Like I'll never
Right.
forget their feelings. I was young. I was super young being exposed to this and just getting better every day and seeing how much it really means. And now reflecting back to it, it's like, you got to carry that on. Like now it's our generation. Like
There we go.
we need to bring that level back. It's a work in process, but you really get exposed to what it truly means and the effort it takes. And it's such a
Yeah.
short amount of time. You give everything you got. It's no time to think. It's no time to be tired. It's no time to dwell, to be too
Right.
happy, to be too
Right.
sad.
Yeah.
So I think that specific year where we got all the way to the fourth place underdog, went to the World Cup, it was like a memory that I'll never forget, honestly. It was intense
Yeah.
in the best way.
And I just love the fact that you really use that opportunity to be a sponge and just learn from the greats. So in those moments, what qualities was instilled within you just through observation, would you say?
I think the biggest again, it's like I'm gonna improve at basketball, but it's just some things that aren't necessarily connected to just putting the ball in the hoop. So
Exactly.
it's some qualities that I learned there that stick with me. Like for example, like the Greek national team operates on passion, like extreme passion and want. And I noticed that immediately when I stepped into that team and was part of that team. Defense, honestly. Those two together to me create this one characteristic of literally fight. So I learned that I had to learn to like not learn, but like I was really exposed to that fighting spirit that is also the Eurobasket and how like, every little thing matters in those competitions too. I had obviously some experience from college
Right.
that everything matters there too. Every possession matters, but this is completely different. Like it
Yeah. Yeah.
really does matter. So it's just like how you did anything is really how you did everything is what I learned from that team. You had to show up every day. It didn't matter. Like everybody absorbed their role and was fine with the role. And I think that's another thing that it taught me. Like whatever your role is, it's still important to the team. You're gonna be on so many teams where your role like it's different and you have
Yeah.
to be okay with it for it to click. And I
Right.
think that's why we were so successful because everyone was so locked in to the main goal. So whatever their role was, it was crystal clear and they embraced it 100% and the team looked good. And I
Right.
think that's something that carries on,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. And you just mentioned two things which I love was the lessons that you learned from those players. You really took it upon yourself to make sure, okay, this is the level, this is the players that I look up to, but I want to make sure that the next generation, i.e., me, you, is like carrying that on, and like I'm making sure that when they're passing this torch on, it's shining just as bright as when they gave it to me. And
Exactly.
second thing is just competing at that high level. I mean, you've played at the highest levels in Europe, with Euroleague with Avenidis and now the Eurocup with Beşiktaş. Like, what are the differences between those two competitions, would you say?
Yeah, I think the Eurocup starts a little slower competition
Mm,
wise. I think it gets much more cutthroat later on and more competitive. It depends also what group you fall in, but usually because it's so many teams, it starts off a little lighter in my experience. But in Europe, but I think the level is still very high, and there's very good players in the Euro Cup and very good teams. So because as you've seen, every year there was a team that was in EuroLeague that now might be
that
in Euro Cup,
yes,
and
yeah, that's true.
you know,
Yeah,
so but I think EuroLeague, it starts really immediately. It's a Tuesday and now you're playing Ekaterinburg from Russia with like the
Yeah.
WNBA roster. Like it starts immediately, and it's really a high level from day one, like extremely high to the end. But I think there's not that many differences, honestly. The speed for me is the same. It's a really fast-paced game. It's physical, and again, it gets both of them get super cutthroat
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so far, like, how or what have you learned about yourself during the journey across multiple teams and even countries?
yeah, so I think I can adapt. I think I have the quality of adapting pretty good. I think that's if I reflect back, I think it's an important thing to have as a player, of being able to adapt to different environments and
Hmm.
different people, different coaches. I think I'm able to do that. To be honest, I was on Avenida for 4 years.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of time in the same spot. I really loved that club. Like they'll
Yeah.
forever hold a special spot in my heart because that was my first year also playing in Euroleague,
Yes.
and we got third place in Euroleague,
Yeah.
gotten a championship with that club, and I really grew as a player in that club.
Right.
And the teammates I had, the coaches, they really helped shape my professional career in a sense
Right.
when I first started there. I think every year is different, which goes back to adapting. You have different teammates, different competition, different coaches. And then just coming to Turkey, I think it's
Yeah.
completely different environment from Spain. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's
Right.
completely different.
Right.
I think it's great. I'm really enjoying my time in Turkey. I think the league is very competitive as well. I just think it's a different level of I mean, not level, but different type of basketball
Yes.
in Spain and in Turkey. I think they
Right.
differ in some ways, which is normal. Like,
Yeah.
leagues differ. And being able to adapt to a new league after knowing something for 4 years, I think is also important to be able to do. And, it's always a challenge, but I love a challenge, thankfully. So,
Yes. Yes.
it's been good for me. I take things from everywhere I go and from everyone I meet and from everyone I play with. So it's
Yeah.
been good.
And how do you manage? Because this is something that I've learned speaking with pros. It's an adjustment because you're adjusting to a new country, language barrier sometimes, or just adapting, like you said, to a new role. Like for yourself, Mariella, how do you manage the team expectations versus your own expectations of yourself?
Right. So I think that eventually, not event, but you're smart enough to know why a team has signed you and what they expect from you.
Right.
And I think the expectations of yourself and the team should align. Like, you
Yes.
know why you're going there, you know why they're signing you, and you know what you can offer to a team. So I think that not overthinking that part and going there and playing and doing the things that you you and everyone knows that you can do, and showing up every day, it's really keeping the consistency of that. I think
Right.
I'm always going to be harder on myself, always, and I think a lot of pro athletes are very hard on themselves. Like, trust me, like, no matter how hard the coach, the expectations, the fans are on the
Yeah.
athlete, no one can like be harder on them than they are on themselves.
Right. Right.
It's like but I think expectations is people having expectations of you. It's a privilege. It's a good thing.
True.
Oh, you're expected
True.
to perform at a specific level, and they believe that you can, and you believe you can. You know you can. So just like even if you have a bad game, a bad day, a bad practice, two bad games, like being able to bounce back and just knowing
Yeah.
what you can offer, because nothing changed in 2 games. Like, you're not suddenly a terrible player. You're also
Right.
not a robot. But just being able to work through that and show up through that and get back to, we're cool. We know how I know you know how to I know how to handle this.
Yes.
There's always gonna be rough patches. But being able to know that those expectations are there, it just keeps you in a straight line. Like, all right, let's keep going forward.
Yeah. And where does that come from? Because this is interesting for myself being a coach, more so now because outside of coaching basketball, I'm a full-time PE teacher in a primary school, and everyone is excited when they win or they score. But when they lose, they really take it hard, and it's like, no, like that loss doesn't define you as a player. It's just, don't allow that. Like, when you fail, it's just feedback, So for yourself, I mean, competing at such a high level, what is your association to wins but also losses?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a competitor, I hate to lose. I
Of
mean, who
course,
doesn't?
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I hate
right.
it genuinely, but I think there's a lot that losing offers. And that's something that I had to learn. I'm not going to sit here and sound like, oh, I take it real well, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's like a process that I've learned to look kind of differently on because it's just keeping that balance of you're never too high, never too low. I know you've heard that before for sure.
Yes, yeah,
But I think if you don't lose, the wins don't taste as good. Losing offers something to you, that the feeling that you never want to feel again and how you can not feel it again,
yeah,
how to get better. I think every time I lose, I genuinely learn from it. Like I watch film, I watch a lot of film, and I think that helps me a lot. And I discovered how much it helps me in my professional career actually. I think it's something that it's slept on if like
yeah.
people
That's
from a
true.
younger age, I mean,
Yeah,
film doesn't lie. No matter what you think is happening, the film gonna be right there, and
that
you're
part.
gonna be exposed. But you're also gonna be like, if you sit down and watch film with the by yourself. But I prefer to do it with a coach, especially after a loss. It's like you really see and hear exactly why you lost. It might not be just you, but you're like rewatching it. So you just kind of take the L's, charge it to the game, but learn from them. Don't let them just pass by because
Yeah,
nobody likes losing, but you, those L's are so important into like figuring out how to win because it's
right.
also very important to be able to know how to win as a professional and not just talk about it, be
True.
able to know how to do it. And I think that comes from losing. Like nothing's gonna be sweet, easy, always a win. You gotta be able to like take a L and then, oh, in 2 days we got a Eurocup game.
Yes.
It's done. Past
Right.
midnight, the L is over, you know?
Yes.
We
Yes.
keep moving. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna wait for you to get over your sadness over the L, you know?
Right.
We gotta keep
Right.
bouncing. So
Right. So true, man. And one thing, as I watch you play and even just look at the highlights, everyone, I feel like, associates you with your spin move. But what I see as a coach is just the footwork, the technique, even being able to finish through contact. So can you kind of break down how you developed it and what makes it so effective?
yeah, I think so. I always had I was from a young age. I finished the ball kind of weird. Like I was able to finish weird when I was young, but that was like okay, like that underhand that I be
Yes,
doing.
yes,
It's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
touch thing. That was always there from when I started playing basketball. But
Okay.
to perfect it, nothing's perfect, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
To really
Yeah.
work on it, I had to add the footwork. I had a coach. Shout out to him, Mike Calavros.
Shout out Mike.
Shout out Mike. He's amazing. He's still to this day my coach every summer. And he perfected my footwork. Like for
Wow.
real, we worked on it every summer. He would add something so funky into the game every time, and I would love it because it's like, who's doing this? Like
Yes.
and who's guarding it if you do it right? I mean,
True.
obviously, like, I love watching players with good footwork. There's so many in this league and every league, honestly, that have really good footwork. And I think footwork comes with being also aware of your surroundings, like having spatial awareness and like kind of being able to read the game because you can't just say, okay, now I'm going to do an up and under. But what if she doesn't jump, or
Right, exactly.
what if she does? You have to have a counter. I think all those things were incorporated in my game when we kind of figured out what type of player I was. Also, I'm never going to be the one to out jump the highest jumper on the other team. And it's
Yeah.
just ways that I can set up myself to be successful when someone's taller or someone's slower or someone's more athletic. It's just being able to have that extra counter that will
Yes.
help me be more efficient in what I
Right.
want to do. And through the years, it becomes kind of natural
Right.
that part of the game. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think I still work on it a lot, especially in the summers, and to be able to incorporate in the game
Yeah.
and help everyone out, honestly.
Right.
As but I think it's something that all credit goes to him for real, because he would come up with something so crazy every summer, and it's true. Like I've never seen this before back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Right.
It's a lot of work though, because you gotta have that balance. It's funky stuff, like for real. But it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Shout
Yeah.
out to him.
Absolutely. And for young bigs listening, in your opinion, Mariella, what are the key fundamentals behind mastering footwork and finishing the post?
Yeah, I think that footwork is, again, I think you can go against anyone with good footwork. For real. Like I think it's a really, really tough thing to guard when you are a big and you are able to move like that
Yeah.
and be able to get away from that defense or fake and have and create more of a open shot for you or for others, because sometimes because you're faking, you create that help from another rotation. Someone
Yes.
else is open. It's not just so one trick, let's do drop step. Like
Right.
it adds a different dimension, I think, to the game, and it helps you a lot to really like be able to attack in many ways. So
Right.
you become pretty unpredictable, and that's a nice thing to have when you're a basketball player in whatever position. To have
Right.
some, you don't know where a big with good footwork, it's like where she's gonna turn or when she is, or you just try to keep people on their toes in that regard, and it helps a lot of the
Yeah.
spacing, yourself, everything. Seriously.
Right.
So I think it's just something that shouldn't be slept on. I don't think it is. I think people have a lot of like there's a lot of players with great footwork, and I think it's just an advantage to have, honestly.
True. True. And as a big, one thing I've realized is you really have to, yes, you need to post up and you need to have counters, but you need to read the game at an extremely high level, because a lot of the times, whether you're in a man or a zone, you need to call the right coverage on a pick and roll. You need to help at the right time. You really need to know the personnel that you're guarding. So, for yourself, Mariella, how do you personally study the game and continue to grow your basketball IQ?
Yeah, definitely. I think that the game has evolved a lot and is continuously evolving.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of bigs and posts in general that it's not that classic post that you saw years ago that just sits
Yeah,
under the basket and just does a drop step or just rebounds. There's a lot of bigs and specifically centers that are very versatile and very fast and can shoot the three and all that, and I love that. I love that the game is evolving. I love that there's more movement from for the bigs. That it's a different type of basketball, I think, than
right,
it was back then. So that just, I think I learn a lot from, again, like I said, film for sure, but I think being able to play against the best players
right.
and with the best players helps me a lot too. I watch a lot of basketball as well, not just my
Nice.
own film. I
Yeah,
really enjoy watching women's and men's basketball, to be fair. Like, for real, I love Euroleague. I love watching all types of basketball.
yeah,
So I think that helps a lot when you're exposed to the sport. And yeah, I think just throughout the years, just, going up against the players that I have been going up against, I think
yeah,
that has helped me the most, honestly. Like
right.
it's completely different every time, and you got to be
Yeah,
ready for that. You
true.
practice it as much as you can, but you got to do it in the game and
Right,
just learn. I think.
right. And it's funny because I could just see the highlight tape just going through your eyes as you was kind of veering off. Like, yeah, I've gone across some tough bigs. Like, I love it. And in your
Yes.
opinion, when you're guarding that, when you're training with players at that level, in your opinion, like, what separates elite bigs from average ones in terms of decision making? Could be reading angles or just reacting to pressure.
Yeah, I think for example, like an elite big is Emma Meesman from Belgium.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's a lot of them, but this is the first one. She's the first one that comes to mind because she, I think what separates her, she knows how to win, but
yeah,
she does, she can do everything, you know? And it shows how much it helps the team. She could have a quiet 15 points, 9 assists, 12 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 blocks, and
Yeah,
it's real life. Like that's what she does, and she does it so effortlessly and grace. Like obviously there's effort, but I think being an all-around player and being really good at one thing, I think every player should have one thing that they're really good at and can always
for
fall
sure.
back on. But being able to do kind of everything in a
Mm,
really high level because her defense is also really good.
yeah,
It helps the team more than you see, obviously, because there was this one game she had like not that many points, but she had like 11 assists,
yeah,
13 rebounds. I'm like, this is huge for the game, and she's a big doing it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
obviously we all know who she is. We all know she's a great player, but
right,
it just like shout out to her. Like
yeah,
he does it all. And I think that separates that one dimension that might be from another big to her that she's doing it all. And and it's great to see and it helps a lot and it makes everybody's life easier for real. So
yeah.
I
And
think that definitely.
that's a great example, honestly. And what's one example of a small detail that changed your game in a big way?
So sprinting the floor, just like
Okay,
straight off the bat, I signed to Avenida my first year and I had a coach. His name was Roberto. Iniguez. He's in Girona now. Very, very rocky relationship. Like if it's love hate. If he watches
right,
this, he knows I love him though deep down. But I would have never thought I'd say this the way. He was a
right.
very hard coach, but a very, very good coach. Very good.
Mm,
And obviously it was I'm talking about it now, but that was a really hard year for me.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Very
yeah,
hard. But I needed it. And so I
yes,
signed in with Avenida. I'm coming from a team that's not Avenida level. So it's like I gotta earn everything, obviously. I wasn't expecting nothing. I just went there with like I'm gonna work hard and that's it.
right.
And I enter and I go to his office and he has 3 bullet points. And if you're a big and you want to play, you gotta sprint the floor, play defense, and rebound. Nothing about scoring, nothing, 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 nothing. And, you know, well, you might not know actually, but before that, I really didn't sprint the floor like that. Like
Okay,
it was it was not it was not a thing. I would take plays off. I'm gonna be super honest. Like I would take plays off. I was yeah, I wasn't sprinting,
yeah,
period, when I should have. And so I was like, oh, never done this before.
yeah, yeah,
Oof.
yeah,
Gotta and it's like but he had that ability of I think it's really respectable in a coach where he's able to take and the 150% from his players no matter what. No matter what the role is given to them, if they like it or not, they still give 150% and you're able to put them in situations to be successful.
right,
And so they play super hard. I think that comes also from the coach and he was able to do that. And I started sprinting the floor with him, obviously rebounding and playing defense too. But that took my game like it and I haven't stopped since
love it.
doing that. It is so, so, so slept on, I think, for a big to be able to sprint the floor. Not only can you get like a transition layup, which was stuff I was never getting before because I wasn't sprinting the floor,
Yeah,
but it's like you suck up the whole defense. Now it's open
yes, there we
threes.
go, there we
You,
go.
you suck up the like for real. Like it's not cute. It's not fun. Like, you
Yeah,
tired, but you create so much just from that, and it's annoying for the other big to run with you every time. Trust me,
yeah,
because
that's
I was
true.
once that other big.
Yeah,
There's a lot of fast bigs. Like I'm not. It's not nothing revolutionary in me
right,
sprinting, but that was something that helped, and I'll never forget when it happened. And I realized the difference, and I saw the
right.
difference. It's something super small, not even basketball. It was just really me sprinting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And see, that's something I'm so grateful that you said that because there's a lot of players that will, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of aspiring athletes who might ask you a similar question like, how can I impact my team? And you just highlighted something that requires zero, you don't need to be super talented to
yes,
sprint the
facts.
floor, to play defense and rebound. It just really comes down to having the right attitude and effort, which I absolutely loved. So, on that
Facts.
note, how can young girls, especially, build confidence playing on the inside, especially if they're still growing into their body?
Yeah, so I think it's we shouldn't forget that it's a process to everything. You're not gonna be
True.
so good the first time you start playing inside or whatever position you are. But just like I think it all starts from giving 100% of whatever you got in the moment in time that you're in. Whatever your 100% is, and you give it that, you can't never ever really fail. Like when you really
Mm.
give your everything into whatever you're doing. Confidence is so important in in any sport, honestly.
Yeah.
In anything you do actually, even if it's fake,
Right.
eventually it will become real. And I
Yes.
think confidence is everything. And I struggled a lot with confidence. So I really truly think it's adds a whole nother dimension to you as a person when you do have the
Yes.
confidence because some shots are just pure confidence. Also the way you look, your body language, so important to you. You can also pour confidence into your teammates, into other
There we
people.
go.
And I think, obviously there's awkward stages of not knowing how to control your body, not knowing your body so well. I had to learn my body I truly learned my body and how it operates at 26. That's late.
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
had an injury. I tore my ACL and I had to relearn everything. It was
Right.
honestly a blessing in disguise. Like it was a tough time, but I learned so much. So I think being able to learn your body truly and give it and set it up for success as well with the proper recovery, the workouts, what it needs to look like to be able to perform.
Yeah.
All those things are very important to having the confidence because confidence comes from how you work. You can always
Yes.
fall back on that and you'll be cool. You can't cheat yourself. Like if you're
True.
not
Yeah.
confident and you're like, oh, well, what did I do to prepare for the moment? And it's nothing, there's no confidence there.
Right.
But if it's a lot,
Right.
it's like, okay, let me just fall back on that. Even if I don't feel 100% confident, I'll fall back on it. I'll fake it a little. It'll eventually come.
Yes. Yeah. And you said something there. When you went through an injury, it was a blessing. And I think I just love that approach on it because I don't want to say unfortunately, but it can be a part of a player's journey going through injury. And there's some players who've walked away from the game or stepped back, or when they step on the court, they're still a bit anxious or they have a bad taste in the mouth. And there's some players that have kind of told me, coach, like, to be honest, I fell in love even more with the game of basketball. So why did you mean that with regards to that injury was a blessing?
Yeah, well, that came after a lot of reflection on it. When it happened, I was scared. I had a lot of fear with it because I was like, how am I gonna come back from this? Not as in like, what is the process? It's like, what is it gonna look like? How am I gonna be? I had a lot of doubts and a lot of questions. Obviously, I had no idea about the process, no idea what anything's supposed to feel like, what's right, what's wrong. It was a really hard injury. And any injury is really hard, but that was
Yeah.
a really hard injury for me personally. I hadn't had something that serious. And it was annoying because it was like I was alone and it happened alone in the game. It was just a lot of annoying things and there was a lot of
Yeah.
frustration. But it's like at some point I started thinking back, I'm like, during my recovery, I'm like, I've never had a year at home. You know what? Okay. It is unfortunate. I think it's part of this is the most unfortunate part of any athlete's journey, an
Yeah.
injury. It is. It's just how you really look at it because I could just sit there and be just scared and just sad and sulking, there were moments that I was sad and there were moments that I cried or that I was mad, but I took myself out of that hole every time. I
Yes.
couldn't sit in
Yeah.
there like, okay, life goes on. I'm not the first. Sadly, I'm not the last. Like, it happens. Bounce back from it. Like, period.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm home for a year. I've never been home with family and friends ever. Cool. I'm getting to learn exactly what everything in my body feels like because you got to relearn how to do everything, how to
Yeah.
walk, what it feels like, how to use muscles you never thought you were going to use. When something's off, how can I prevent it from feeling off? I learned so much for real. And then another really big thing that I learned was that um and I cannot rely on motivation. It's just not me
Mm.
because motivation, yeah, like I can't do it. And I thought I could. I can't you gotta be dedicated to it. You gotta just like
Preaching to the choir right
you know
now,
what I'm
Mariella.
saying? Like,
Woo,
because
yeah,
there
that's
at
real.
some
That's
point,
real.
I'm
That's
not gonna lie
real.
to you, at 4 months in where it was I was doing the same thing every day, I had no motivation.
Yeah,
Like
talk
in
about
that
it. That's
moment,
real.
like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is what it is. I did not want to go into that gym and do the same exercise and all like it was annoying and I was in that spot, but I'm like, so I couldn't fall back on, oh, I'm not motivated, so I guess I'm not gonna go. No, but I was very, very, very disciplined about it. Very disciplined, and I learned how much discipline I had, I didn't know before, and I figured it out that it's motivation is here, discipline is really what takes you through.
For real. Yeah.
So, I really
Yeah.
learned that through my and I think there were lessons like that that really, helped me, and I think I wouldn't have learned if this didn't happen for me, and then just being able to do everything I did with the fear, like by my side. I just took the fear and did it anyway, and so it
Yeah.
decreased. The more I did it, the more my fear went away. Like it was things like that that I think is like I can really do some things that I had put a limit to
Right.
in my mind before, or that I didn't know I had. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
cool. It was cool.
right. And that's just such a key insight. And I think it's important for aspiring athletes, especially, or even as people who just want to be successful. There will be some people who only want to hear about you hitting that game winning shot, or when they'll meet you at the end of the finish line, but then there'll be some other people who will stay with you as you're running that marathon, and will really be your
Yeah.
support system, which is so key. And for yourself, like, what should aspiring pro players understand about the lifestyle behind the scenes, the travel, pressure, recovery, and routine?
Yeah, I think pressure, I'm always gonna say it every time. Pressure is a privilege. I'm always gonna say it.
Mm,
It's so true. And I think this lifestyle, you choose it. There's a lot of sacrifices you make for this lifestyle. I can sit down and tell you about all of them. For real.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of alone time, a lot of time away from your family. You miss a lot of family events, a lot
yeah,
of family milestones, a lot of friendship things, a lot of events that you shouldn't miss normally, but you do. But I can sit here and tell you all that, which is true. Like it doesn't take away from it. But I chose this,
yeah,
and I'm okay with it. It doesn't make it like less hurtful that you miss
yeah,
those things, like less bitter, but it's like something that I chose to do. And so the joy and the pros that this lifestyle gives me outweigh the cons, if that makes sense.
absolutely.
Again, there's moments where it's like, damn, I wish I could really be there, or damn, you know, you come back every year, everybody a little bit older,
Yeah,
everybody a little bit, everything changed a little bit. You kind of live in a
yeah,
bubble compared to like the people that, you have been with for your whole
for
life.
sure, for sure.
So, but I think it's just such it's not forever. And it's like, I'm trying to soak it up as much as I can. And I'm trying to say yes to every opportunity I can have. At the end of the day, it's like, it's a game that is able to take me this far and give me so much that has already given me and continues to give. Cause I'm obviously, like you said, I'm nowhere near finishing
Right.
playing the sport, but it's like, it's important to not forget that you chose this and
Yes.
all the hardships that come with it, they come with it, and you learn to adjust and you learn how to deal with it, and you look at the pros of it, and that keeps you going because
Yeah.
no one's like, you got to play this sport or this,
Right.
like it is what
Yeah.
it is. I love it. I love the lifestyle. It's hard. It's not for everyone. It's important to be able to balance your lifestyle,
True.
in my opinion. For me, that's what works for me. You
Yeah.
have to have a balance, you know what I'm saying? For your mental to be okay too. It's important to take recovery super seriously. I think it's just as important as practicing,
Yeah.
especially as the years pass,
Right. Right.
28, it's getting no, but for real though. Yeah, yeah. So basically, if you really want to do this and you commit to it, it's love. It's all done with love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. And just a final topic, because I want to be respectful of your time before we wrap up with the Beyond the Game segment. Player versus the person. And this is something I didn't really realize until during COVID, where not just myself, but everyone was taken away from their job or loved ones or just what they like to do. And for me, to be honest, it took me a minute to take off my Coach D hat and be like, okay, like I've watched every basketball documentary. I've watched the Olympics back to back. I've watched Euroleague, Eurocup, Basketball Champions League. Okay, let me take off the Coach D hat and what does Demetrius like to do? And I learned a whole new language. I got serious
oh
on my
wow.
health and my lifestyle. And it was nice to, as much as I love the game, as we all love the game, it was nice not to associate, oh, that's Coach D. That's just basketball. No, 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 no. That's Demetrius. That's the person. That's the older brother. That's the son. That's the good friend. So for
Right.
yourself, like, how do you describe the difference between Mariella the player and Mariella the person?
Well, what language did you learn?
Spanish.
Fire. Oh my gosh. Me
Yeah.
too.
En serio.
En serio.
Qué chido.
Look at that. Okay. Okay, sorry. I had to ask. But
Of course.
it's really interesting you say that because I had a moment. I had that identity crisis during my ACL injury actually when the game was taken away from
Wow.
me. It wasn't during COVID necessarily because I was still playing. The Spanish league didn't stop. I was in college actually in 2020 and so I graduated
Okay.
and then it wasn't that big of a cut the game for me situation.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't that far. I mean, I wasn't that long away from the sport. But when the injury happened, I panicked a little. I think I'm still figuring it out the whole
Yeah,
who
for
am
sure.
I without the game? And I think it's really hard to do. But I think the injury gave me a sense of like, you need to start figuring out like who you are, what you like, what you want to do outside of the game as well. And not necessarily
True.
in one day be like, oh, I want to do this, this, that. I'm this, third, but have it in your conscious, like,
Yeah.
so like throughout the years, you learn who you are without the game as well, because on a random Wednesday in Italy, the game was taken from me for like
Mm,
a year and a half, you know?
yeah.
So it's like, who am I? So I think there are many reminders of who you are when you only get to focus on yourself. Like you said, you are a friend. Like I'm a friend, I'm a sister,
Yeah.
daughter, all those things. I like to do a lot of different things outside of the court. And I was reminded of that in that moment. And I was reminded not to lose that as well, because it is two different people. I think there's an
True.
alter ego that plays on the court, much more serious, much more intense.
Yeah.
I'm very intense, like very intense personality on the court. I think I'm much more, I like to keep it light. I like to have a lot of energy. I think if you ask someone, I'm very much more goofy off the court. Like I'm
Mm,
gonna laugh, I'm gonna be loud.
yeah.
I think that also translates to the court though, being loud and
Yeah.
having that energy. It's very important to have that distinction. And it's interesting what others think as well. Because I don't think everybody in the world, not in the world, but in the people that know you knows
Yeah.
Demetrius as they
Yes.
know Coach D. Just like
Right.
some people are like, oh, that's Fasula that know me like
Yeah.
with a jersey on, and that's Foss or that's Mar or whatever,
Yeah.
depending on who the person is. So
Right.
it's interesting how other people see you. I think my best friends see me as their best friend,
Nice.
you know?
Yeah.
As a
Yeah. Makes
basketball
sense.
player and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. But I think it's just a journey with yourself. And I was lucky enough to go through that little identity crisis and realize that you just got to keep like discovering yourself
Yeah.
daily and not neglect that part of yourself as well, because
Yes.
the game ends at some point. Who are you
True.
without it? You're not going to know the answer today. I'm not, but
Yeah.
I have it in my head, in my
Right.
mind. So,
Right. And
yeah.
what keeps you grounded outside of basketball?
What keeps me grounded? Just, I think what keeps, oh my gosh, I don't know. I feel like a lot of things do. I really like giving my time, like spending time with people that I enjoy, those conversations and like those friends to me, whether it's from FaceTime because they're far away or whether
Yeah.
it's my support system keeps me grounded
Nice.
so much. And my family, obviously, that's a big part of it too. And, like I said, I have a balance with my life that I have figured out on the court and off the court. So being able to do my normal and have my routine, I think having a routine is what keeps me completely
Mm,
grounded. Actually, now that the more I'm talking and the more I'm realizing it's my routine, it
okay.
can change up. It can be a little spontaneous, but like the
Yeah.
basic overall thing
Yes.
to kind of
Yes.
fit in what I know works for me and me being able to do that every day and feel normal about it is what keeps me grounded. I don't think I can live without routine, honestly.
Right.
That was great. Yeah.
And
There we
just
go.
the final question before we wrap up with the Beyond the Game segment, which I'm super curious to get your mind on. What's something the fans, listeners don't see that's a big part of who you are?
Huh. What's yours?
That's a good question. To be
Right?
honest, I think two things. One would probably be it's funny because when you said how you can be very serious and intense, but off the court you could be quite goofy. That is me, 100%. Like in a game, I'm locked in. I'm looking at the help, countering the play. But then off the court, I'm more chill, relaxed, and actually, I'm a bit of a introvert naturally.
Okay.
Like obviously to coach, I have to be on point, switch, extrovert. But in my own little bubble, I'm chilling. I like to observe more than anything. So I think that would be something that people probably don't realize a lot about me. They might even think the opposite. Oh, so you must be always expressive, or you're
Yeah.
very you like the spotlight. Coaching, yes. Outside of basketball, I'm in the cut chilling, for the most part. So yeah,
No, facts. No, I agree. I think that's a big thing for me too. I'm not the same person. And I think another thing is I think I've gotten this a lot from people that I didn't know and then we became friends or like we had a conversation or two or stuff like that.
yeah.
I'm not as mean as I look. I
Okay.
promise. Like, because it is that seriousness and then like intensity, because that
Yeah,
comes out in how you speak and how everything your look, like whatever. I think I'm completely different off the court. And that's
yeah.
the thing. It's like I'm here, but that here off the court is still 100. My
Yes.
personality is very strong. It's just
Yeah.
different. So
Right.
I think it's just I think I'm not exactly how I come
Yeah.
off to people
Right.
normally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And entering the Beyond the Game segment, fourth quarter of the podcast, as we wrap up. This first question, I'm super intrigued to get your mind now. Mariella, this can go the basketball route, life, or both. It really depends on which side resonates the most. And the question that I want to ask you is what would you say is a skill that is taught by many, but only mastered by a few?
Ooh, what is a skill taught by many, mastered by a few? Let me think a second on it, because
Please, please.
that's a good question. I think for basketball, it's a pump fake. The art
That's
of
a
a pump fake.
first. Okay. Talk to me.
it's it's the 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 art of the pump fake is lost. I see it all the time. It's just a simple thing. I think it's so like because I see it all the time. It's like if you had pump fake, you wouldn't have gotten y- I was about to cuss stuff
Yeah.
sent,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
you could have sent them flying. I just think the pump fake is lost for real.
Mm,
And what? But that's like just something off the top of the head. For sure, there's
yeah.
more
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I think another thing that is taught by a lot, mastered by a few is patience.
Oof.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Patience. Because I'm still trying to master that in
Yeah.
anything. In basketball, when you're in a low block, when you going up the ladder and you're not where you want to be, when anything, when you're not
For real.
agreeing with something, when you don't got the role you want, whenever in life, then again, same thing. I think patience, it's really hard skill to master. I
Hmm.
definitely don't have it mastered. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
real. Like I'm quite impatient actually,
Okay.
but I've gotten better again through that blessing in disguise. Like
Yeah.
for real, through that injury. It's
Right.
it's helped me a lot. But I think it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
master it. No matter what anyone says, I think it's hard to master that truly.
Right.
But and not that goes to, if you have that patience, you don't rush. I
True.
envy a person that doesn't rush with anything. Their
Mm,
life, on the court, with decisions, they don't act off emotion, all that. I think it's something that is hard to master, and it goes
yeah.
hand in hand.
Understood. The art of the pump fake
The
and
art of the pump
patience.
fake.
I
I'm
like
telling
that.
you, like,
I like that.
it makes life so much easier. And
Yeah.
it's like just pump fake. Just
Yeah.
pump fake. Everyone's jumping. I
True.
guarantee
Yeah.
everyone is
That's a fact.
jumping
Yeah.
because yeah, I promise you.
Yeah. That's a good one. Next one. What is something failure taught you that success couldn't?
Mm. Failure, I think with failure, something that the thing with failure is that there's not no, the thing with success is everyone there with you for it, da da da. Like there's not any noise, everybody happy, everybody this. But with failure, it's like you gotta go against all that adversity and
Mm-hmm.
all that talk and all that background noise, all the hate,
Yep.
the judgment, the everything, and you gotta keep going. In success, you still gotta keep going, but it's easier to keep going, you know?
Yes.
Like it's everyone's with you. But when everyone not with you or they against you, can you keep going?
There we
And you'll
go.
never really be able to figure that out unless you really do fail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Final three. The best piece of advice you ever received.
That is just a game from my dad, actually. I'm a very anxious person and out of body experience anxiety sometimes.
Mm,
And he really had to just remind me, this was a long time ago, real long time ago, but I just kept it. It's very cliche, honestly, but it helped in that moment and I'll never forget it. That at the end of the day, you just put your shorts on and you go play a game.
mm,
Why do you do this? You love it.
yeah.
It's a game that you fell in love with as a kid. Like your dress, yeah, like your work clothes or basketball shorts.
Yeah.
It's a game. Don't forget that you love it. It's not that. Don't
Yeah.
forget
True.
why you do it. Like don't trip like that. It's a game. Have fun with it. The more as long as you having fun, it's good. Like don't forget that.
Right.
It's true. Real talk.
Yeah.
At whatever level you are in.
Right.
Yeah.
Final two. This one is more of a statement, and you have to fill in the blank. So the
Oh,
statement says, if it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't have learnt filling the blank about myself.
If it wasn't for basketball, oh, I think I wouldn't have learned anything about myself.
Mm,
Honestly, I think,
okay.
which that's a lot of pressure on the game because
True.
but,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long that everything I know, everything I am, but without this being a bad thing because it isn't, it's just how I grew up, it can be associated to basketball. I think I
Yeah.
wouldn't be the same, and I don't think I'd like the version of myself without the game, without with everything that is offered to me, and not even
Yeah.
just on the court. I'm not even talking about for real basketball right now, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Okay.
everything.
And the final one, Mariella, I'm going to set the scene for you. So there's a young girl who's been following your game. She's been to every Eurobasket competition. She's got your jerseys and she's just found out that you have released a book. So after practice, she's sprinting into her nearest bookstore. She goes to the librarian. Where can I get the latest book by Mariella? And she's like, you just go up the stairs, you turn right, you go to the best time sports section. You can't miss it. So she's excited with her backpack. She's going up the stairs. She grabs your book, Mariella, from the top shelf. And the question that I want to ask you is, what would the title of your autobiography be?
This is a great question.
Thank you.
Seriously, all these questions are really like I've never had to think about them. So this is like such a hard answer right now on the spot, like for real. What the
Take your
title to my
time, please. Take your time because
autobiography would be? I think it would be something cliche like the journey or the process. Really,
mm,
because as it might sound, I probably think of something better for real, but like in the moment, I can give you
yes.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that the reason I say it is because, and I was having this conversation with one of my teammates the other day. Really, what stays with all this, all the title, the champion, da, 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 it's really the process and the journey that you remember forever. In my opinion,
That's
as
real.
the years pass, all
Yeah.
I remember is the process of that situation or stuff that came from the journey and what that journey includes. Because that my journey was like
Yeah, yeah.
any which way but straight, you know? And it's special. Everyone's journey is so unique and different.
Right.
And I think I'm interested in everybody's journey. Like that's a question I love to get into because it's like it can't be replicated at all.
True.
And it's like the journey is really like you really get an insight on what really shaped this person be that, and
Yeah.
like how did they approach it, or what really like has happened in their journey, or can I relate to anything? I think it's so interesting and very special. So
Right.
probably would be that.
I love that. I love that, man. Honestly, this has been a privilege for me to
Oh,
have you on
thank
the
you.
podcast. Honestly, Mariella, to those who are listening to this on YouTube and Spotify, we appreciate you for joining us. Still, do not worry. Her media handles will be in the description of this episode. But once again, man, so many gems, not just on basketball, which is why I love this conversation even more. It was a true testament to, people say, board is life. It really is that,
Facts.
and just the lessons you learn on how to communicate, how to be of impact no matter what role that is, how to read body language, how to handle pressure, how to calm your teammates under pressure. You can apply those lessons in life, so
Hell yeah.
appreciate you so much, man. So honestly, this is myself, Coach D, and the one and only Mariella signing out. Appreciate you.
Coach G, thank you really for the conversation. It was great, honestly.